Imagine a group of students goes on a field trip to a planetarium. And they walk into the planetarium and it's this huge room, and there's this big yellow ball suspended in air right in the middle of the room, and that represents the sun. And then there's a lot of smaller balls suspended in air surrounding the big yellow ball, and they represent the various planets. And each of the balls representing planets is colored like the planet it represents. It is sized in proportion to the planet it represents. It is spaced away from the yellow ball in proportion to the planet that it represents. And all these smaller balls move around the big yellow ball in proportion to the speed with which the planets move around the sun. And so the students walk in and they see this and they look at this for a while, and after a while one of the students asks, "Who built this?" Now think about what the student asked. The student asked who. The student didn't ask how did this come into existence. And in fact, if someone would tell the student, or if someone would tell you that a storm or a tornado came through the area and blew a bunch of debris around, and after a while this planetarium just kind of appeared, you would not believe them. Because we know, using logic and intelligence, that the only way a planetarium like that comes into existence is if a living, intelligent being designs and creates it. Now, if that's the conclusion when we look at planetarium, should we not also conclude the same thing when we look at the real thing, the solar system? Just as the planetarium is a collection of round objects that move around in a regular, predictable pattern, so too the solar system is a collection of objects that are suspended in space and they move around in a regular, predictable pattern. And just as we look at a planetarium and come to the logical, intelligent conclusion that a living, intelligent being created the planetarium, so too when we look at the solar system, the logical, intelligent conclusion is that a living, intelligent being created the solar system. Now let's think about a biosphere. Imagine some astronauts are moving across the surface of the moon exploring. And after a while they come across this huge glass dome. And inside this glass dome they see people and buildings and plants and animals. And inside this glass dome is the right air mixture, the right food supply, the right temperature for humans to live and work. Now, let's think about how that biosphere came into existence. If somebody told you the storm went racing across the moon and magically created this biosphere that has the right temperature and air mixture and food supply for humans to live, would you believe them? No, because we know that it takes a living, intelligent being or group of living, intelligent beings to create an environment on the moon that has the right temperature, the right air mixture, and the right food supply for humans to live and work. Now, if that's the conclusion that we come to about a biosphere on the moon, should we not come to the same conclusion about planet Earth? Planet Earth is a biosphere. It has the right air mixture, it has the right temperature, it has the right food supply for humans to live and work. And just as we look at a biosphere on the moon and come to the logical, intelligent conclusion that a living, intelligent being created that biosphere, so too when we look at the Earth, the logical, intelligent conclusion is that a living, intelligent being created planet Earth. Now let's think about an artificial hand. Imagine a soldier is off at war, and during a battle he loses his hand. And so he's brought home, he's taken to the hospital, and the surgeons give him an artificial hand. And this is a very advanced artificial hand. With this artificial hand, the soldier can pick up a pen and write. With this artificial hand, the soldier can pick up a ball and throw it. And with this artificial hand, the soldier can type on a keyboard. Now, if somebody told you that a tornado went through a junkyard and blew a lot of metal around, and this artificial hand magically assembled itself out of the storm, would you believe that? No, you wouldn't. Because the logical, intelligent conclusion when we look at an artificial hand is to come to the conclusion that a living, intelligent being created the artificial hand, designed it and created it. And if that's the conclusion we come to when we look at an artificial hand, should we not come to the same conclusion when we look at the real thing, when we look at a real human hand? The human hand can pick up a pen and write, it can pick up a ball and throw it, and it can type on a keyboard. And so, if the logical, intelligent conclusion when looking at an artificial hand is to conclude that a living, intelligent being created it, then when we look at a real human hand, also the logical, intelligent conclusion is that a living, intelligent being created the human hand, which means a living, intelligent being created humans, which means the logical, intelligent conclusion is that God exists.